up in the mountains, my friends, where you can still watch an eagle soar on the wind. And I walk those hills with a smile on my face, and I can't get back to God's saving grace in the mountains.
Welcome back to our Hill to Die On podcast. I am your host, Chase Dowling. And this is what's going on in Forest Hill for the week of October 8th through the 14th, 2025. Hope everybody's having a good week. You know I am. The weather's been fantastic. Fall is here, folks. Fall is here. I'm pretty pumped up about it, gotta be honest. And without further ado, it's time for our Caballo Gallo weather report. Yeah, this week, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be like a washboard road. Smooth in some spots, bumpy and hell in the others, you know. So we start out the week pretty good. You know, going to be kind of smooth all the way till Friday. Get a little bit of chance of rain on Friday. Then clears back up for the weekend. And then come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, possibly. The forecast hasn't quite got that one figured out yet. But could be getting a little bit of rain those days. And since this was sent to me by Nader, the Robinator, Mr. Robbie Henry himself, going to be some snow in the high country. That's right, up in French Meadows, down to lake level, should be seeing some snow. Feet. All kinds of feet of snow. Probably not. But Robbie says feet of snow. If you go buy your beans and buy the shelves, fill up on your gas if you're going to French Meadows. Probably going to be like maybe just a flake or two. But feet of snow. That's the first time I've seen snow in the forecast in about 6 months. And it's only possible. But anything can happen, folks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Caballo Gallo weather report. Thanks, Nader. So, getting right into it, folks. For Wednesday, October 8th, we have the LSM food distribution at 24500 Main Street from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Then we have at 7 p.m. at the Mountain Club. It's bingo at the Mountain Club. Also, girls flag football versus Sac Adventist at 4:30 p.m. And the chamber mixer at the hall from 6 to 8 p.m. And a big happy birthday to Coach B. Coach Brian, not going to say your last name because no one can, apparently. But he's the varsity boys baseball coach. Happy birthday, Coach B. Going out to you. I even called my son. I said, how in the hell do you say his last name? He says, Dad, I don't know. We just call him Coach B. It's a mouthful. It's Sacathilacakas. Something like that. Sounds like a sneeze. Anyway, then going into Thursday, we got workout. A little bit of cardio. Corey Nix at the Calvary Bible Assembly at 8:30 a.m. And then we have also 4-H meeting. Hey, 4-Hers, which one of you is going to start raising cows? You're going to have your 4-H meeting at 6 to 8 p.m. Cows, goats, pigs, freaking chickens. Get them raised, kids. We need some good protein on the mountain. So that's from 6 to 8 at the hall. And then 8 p.m. it's karaoke at the Mountain Club. I'm going to get my voice warmed up. Go up there, sing a little bit, do a little dance, make a little love. No, probably not going to do that. Anyway, but if you want to, Mountain Club's where it'd be. Then moving on, Friday. We have a fundraiser for the boys varsity baseball team for the batting cages. It's a home run derby at 6 p.m. Home run derby at the softball field uptown. They're going to be doing a home run derby. All money raised goes to the batting cages, boys varsity baseball team. So if you feel like you can crank one, get up there, show them what you got. Show them what you're working with. You know who I think can hit one out of the park? Brian Jones. Talking to you, buddy, because you are a good citizen. That's right. Get up there to the home run derby. Also, at the Forest Hill, was it the high school? Forest Hill FHS, yeah. It's a harvest festival from 4 to 6 p.m. I have to double check that. I thought that was supposed to be at the middle school. But either way, at one of the schools, there's a harvest festival. 4 to 6 p.m. Get that figured out. So cows, they're back. Wild as hell. Got a good picture of them today. All three of them. See these pictures going by? Yeah, that's right. Got out of the truck, went to go get a little closer. They are wild. They have proven that they have been there since the mosquito fire because they were snorting and blowing and wanting to come get a little bit. Of course, I stepped at them a little bit aggressive, and they ran away. Of course, I could have stepped around one, even though I am 41 years old. Still got a little move in me. Yeah, it's just like a chicken full of X-Lax, Got all kinds of moves. Anyways, I'm happy the cows have been sighted. By me, too. Who better? Fish, though, on the other hand. I've been seeing a lot of boats going up in the morning. You guys have been out there doing it to it, but I don't see any pictures of any fish. I see a boat at least once a day going up to French Meadows, somebody towing it at like 4:30, between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Or you'll see them parked at some of the turnouts, maybe sleeping. Old boy's been fishing. Ain't been catching, though. That's why they call it fishing, not catching. If I were to do it every day, they'd just call it catching. I'm joking. I'm a terrible fisherman. Everybody knows this. That's why Andy has to give me fish that's in my freezer. Just saying. Anyway, folks, get me your fish pics. Get me your cow pics. Get me your livestock pics. I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's right. Anyway, moving on. Saturday, going to have the softball tournament for the boys Forest Hill varsity baseball team fundraiser. They're doing a softball tournament on Saturday. Don't know what time it starts. Probably in the morning sometime. I'm guessing probably 9 or 10. So if you want to help the boys raise some funds for their batting cages and you like playing baseball, get up there to the softball field. Talk to Ken Valencia. That's the boys varsity baseball coach. He will get you lined out. Then, ladies and gentlemen, one near and dear to my heart. The Hillbilly Games in Iowa Hill is this Saturday. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That's right, starting off with Hillbilly Horseshoes. That's where you take a toilet seat, throw it at a T-post, folks. That's right, throw it at a T-post. Then they're going to have donut eating. They're going to have hay baling. They're going to have chicken poop bingo even going on. Yes, that's right, folks. What else? Axe throwing. And the big event of the day is going to be wood splitting. That's right. If you think you're man enough, get out to Iowa Hill. The events start, if you want to get signed up for the Hillbilly Horseshoes, got to be there by 10. Get started. They'll start at 11. And then they'll roll on from there. I think the wood splitting starts at like 2 or 3. And then we're going to have the raffle and the auction starting at about between 4 and 5. Going to have hot dogs and sausages and drinks and beer and all kinds of stuff. Everybody having a good time. Get out to Iowa Hill, folks. The Hillbilly Games are back. They're back. They're back. Then, also on Saturday, you can still, I totally missed it. Still go work out with Corey Nix in the morning. Pump that iron right there. Pump it. Let's go. And then, that's what we got there for Saturday. Sunday, hey, folks, dump's open. It's always open on Saturdays, Friday to Monday. Unless you show up between, 11:30 and noon. It's when they close for lunch. Open from 8 to 5. You can take your stuff there. Rain or shine, doesn't matter. Dump is open. And also, pool tournament at the Mountain Club starting at 4 o'clock. That's going to be a weekly thing, folks, so if you want to get good at pool, now's the time. Which brings us to thoughts for the shitter. This one is, some people bring you joy and others bring lessons. And whichever one it is, whether it's joy or lessons, they might not come from them. It might be from them leaving, or it might be something that you learned what not to do. With that said, a good lesson to have is, folks, and I always say I'm a Christian, but I don't necessarily go to church all the time and don't necessarily read the Bible, but the one thing that always sticks out in my mind that Jesus always said is love one another. Be kind to one another, folks. I think that's a good lesson for this week. Love thy neighbor like you love thyself, something like that. I'm not a theologian, and I shouldn't even be quoting the Bible, and I don't even know if it's in the Bible, for God's sakes. But we are a community. We all have to live on this tiny little divide with each other, and I think there's about 6,000 of us. So, folks, treat each other good. If you see somebody in need of help, you got a neighbor that doesn't, that's elderly or can't, stack their wood, maybe go over and give them a hand. I don't know. Just thoughts to ponder while you're dropping them off down yonder. Now, which brings us into Monday, folks. Monday. Oh, real quick. Wednesday. I almost forgot. Wednesday, as this podcast comes out, that'd be tonight at 6 p.m. at the elementary school. That's right. It is the Forest Hill Public Utility District Board meeting. So if you want to know what's going on with your water district, get up there and see. But then we're going to get back into Monday. Monday. It's Columbus Day, or some say Indigenous Peoples Day. We didn't have Indigenous Peoples Day when I was in school. We just had the one, Columbus Day. They're both the same thing. You can just call them a little different if you want to. But girls flag football versus Encina at 4:30 at the high school. That's right. And they're kicking butt too. Let them go. Let's work, girls. Then, on Tuesday, we got another workout at 8:30 in the morning at the Calvary Bible Assembly with Corey Nix. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we? She works out all the time. And then, girls volleyball game. We got a volleyball game, home versus John Adams at 5 p.m. So if you want to see some good volleyball, get over to the high school on Tuesday, October 14th at 5 p.m. And also, bingo at Memorial Hall in the small room from 11:30 to 3:30. So bingo. We got a couple of bingo episodes going on here this week. We got one at the Mountain Club on Wednesday, and we got one at the Memorial Hall on Tuesday. So if you're into bingo, we got enough of it going on. Then, ladies and gentlemen, this week's Business of the Week, longtime resident. Been here. His family's been here for ages. He's been here for ages. Owl Creek Lumber Company, Mr. Jeff Turpin. Call him for if you need a tree dropped down, you need it limbed up, you need some brush chipped, you need any of that stuff. You call Owl Creek Lumber Company and Jeff Turpin, because he will treat you right. Guaranteed. I tell you, folks, because everybody knows we got a tree company too. But there's enough on the hill to go around. And if I always tell people, if you can't get to it, if we can't get to it, or, they need some other names, Jeff's one of the first names I give out. And there's a reason for it, because he's good for it. He does good work. And, and he's well, bang for the buck, well worth the price. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Call Owl Creek Lumber Company. They are one of Forest Hill's great sources for tree companies. And we have a wealth of them up here, let me tell you. And all of them are good. How would you like that? That's because the sissies don't hang around very often. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Our Sasquatch has been sighted this week at the corner of Pond and Forest Hill Road.
Well, long ago in the Oregon hills lived a legend that seemed silly of a wild man, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or in this case, a hillbilly.
Known to have a little bit of a lead foot, racing around circles in more ways than one in his youth. As he got older, heard he listened in on phone calls. Not a creep, just liked doing it. Then he found his true calling, like any Sasquatch would, back in the woods, pulling that air horn and shifting gears. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm not going to tell you. If you don't know, now you know. People are going to probably get that one pretty easy. Andy, for sure. Michelle, for sure. And I don't. There might be somebody that pops up in the comments this week that nobody commented on last week's. What the heck? Nobody's been commenting. Folks, that's where I get my material, from the comments section. They say don't read it. What the hell? Got to in this instance. All right. Which brings us to our Robert Francis joke of the week. This one goes like this here. It says, so this city fella buys a small farm and decides he's going to raise some chickens. He heads down to the local feed store and says, hey, I'll take 100 of them baby chicks. Clerk says, well, all right, and loads them up. A week later, and he's back, and he says, hey, I'll take another 100 of them baby chicks. Clerk raises an eyebrow, but doesn't say anything. Loads them up. Another week goes by, same guy comes back in and goes, hey, I get another of those 100 of those baby chicks. And the clerk goes, man, what are you doing with all them baby chicks? And the guy goes, I really don't know. Been trying to grow some, but I think I've been planting them too deep. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a good rest of your week. We got a busy week here in Forest Hill this week. We got all kinds of events. Don't forget about the Hillbilly games. Don't forget about the softball tournament this weekend. Everybody's going to have a good time. I hope to see you. I'm going to be out in Iowa Hill helping them put that deal on. Hope to see you there. We're going to have a good time. If you're man enough, come split some wood. If you're man enough, go see if you can hit a softball at the home run derby on Friday night. There's all kinds of things to be manly about this weekend. Hell, if you're woman enough, give your hand at both. Hope you had a good week. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you on the next one.